So covering the categories of M365 E5, security compliance, calling and meetings, and analytics. So these are the building blocks that are in Microsoft 365 E5. I will cover each of these building blocks in detail, give you our vision on how to handle this, and we will do this in this order as well. The calling and meetings I will spend some more time on because it's quite a difficult topic. It might get a bit above everyone's head, but that's probably why we're all here, to gain a better understanding of Microsoft 365 and how to license and what your options are. So bear with me. If there's any questions, please feel free to break in. I'm looking at Eric to do that. Otherwise, I'll just keep going. So security packaging. On the left-hand side, all the products that are in Microsoft 365 E5 security. That's a large suite of security services that Microsoft is offering. It's all included in the E5 suite, and it's a bit fragmented on the different suites within Microsoft 365 E5. So Defender for Office 365 Plan 2, for instance, is the service that is covered in Office 365 E5. Defender for Endpoint is actually the only service, as far as I know, that is titled Windows E5. Active Directory Plan 2, Microsoft Defender for Identity, and Cloud App Security are all in EMS E5. The reason that Microsoft packaged it like this is because they feel that this is the set of products that you need as an end customer to deliver a secure workplace to your organization. The bonus that you get in buying E5 or the E5 security suite is you get some additional functionality like save documents and application guard for Office 365. But the main focus for many organizations is on the Defender front and the Azure Active Directory Plan 2 front. Cloud App Security is becoming more prevalent. What it all does, Office 365, Defender for Office 365, we've covered earlier. It is a combination now of Plan 1, which is the save links attachment, save email traffic proposition from Microsoft. It's added threat intelligence to that and called it Microsoft Defender for Office 365 Plan 2, previously Advanced Threat Protection Plan 2. Defender for Endpoint, it's to secure your devices. It's it's a user subscription license, but you use it on your devices where you have Windows installed, and it will tie into the Microsoft Graph to predict if you're being targeted for attacks, etc., etc. It's also available for servers. It's not covered in Microsoft 365 E5, but you can separately purchase this for your servers as well to secure your server environment the same way. Azure Active Directory Plan 2 is mainly an extension of Plan 1 in the sense that it will do some automation for you. It holds additional functionality as well, like privileged identity management and other items. All the deep focused technical stuff we have added to the appendix if you want to know more on what's included. I will continue on to the compliance feature availability. This is a bit of a difficult one because what Microsoft did was go from all these different types of services. Some weren't even available at the time when they packaged Microsoft 365 E5, but they packaged it up into one big giant suite. And in that suite, they created 3 smaller suites called Information Protection and Governance, Insider Risk Management, and e-Discovery and Audit. Microsoft felt that these grouped products were what you would need as a bare minimum, and you wouldn't need just one of these services. I am here to tell Microsoft that they're wrong. There's a lot of customers that are happily using, for instance, just customer logbox, or just customer key or records management or endpoint DLP, and not any of the other services. As you
On that same token, we have a question from Bryce. Hasn't Microsoft created a P1 and P2 plan for Defender for endpoint now? Any
That's correct,
comments on
Bryce.
that?
That's correct, Bryce. When I created these slides, I did not already include the endpoint P1 and P2. I should update that. I will try to do it after this session. Endpoint P1 will be available in Microsoft 365 E3. It will hold some of the functionality of the full P2 suite, what they call now. But they basically rebranded the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint P2 and packaged a new service, which they call P1, with a limited set or subset of that functionality.
Great. Thank you, Bryce.
Thanks for keeping me sharp here. On the right, you see, for instance, some retired offers. A lot of organizations were using Azure Information Protection Plan 2 as a standalone service. That is no longer possible. You can only use that as a bare minimum in the information protection and governance suite. And they renamed it to rule-based auto-classification. What it basically means is that if you're using Information Protection Plan 1, you want to automate that with AI capabilities. You would probably need to buy this full suite and get all these additional features with it. Similarly, with Customer Logbox, Microsoft offered that free of charge. They moved it first into advanced compliance, and then they said, we will package it now in insider risk management. For a lot of organizations, this means that while they were purchasing an information protection plan to step up at around $2 per user per month, they would be looking at something like $4 to $5 to buy this suite, or even $9 or $10 for the full EMS E5 Microsoft 365 E5 compliance offer. I don't think that's a very good approach from Microsoft. I'd happily hear if someone disagrees with that. I think they're using the power that they have to have organizations purchase more of the compliance features. And a lot of organizations aren't fully ready yet to move to any of these services. It's often the most underutilized piece of the E5 offering that I find, even more so than, for instance, Power BI or the phone system offering. So we've talked about compliance and security. One very important side step here is that Microsoft licenses most security and compliance features tenant-wide. This means the service is not assigned to a single user, but activated on the tenant. But the licensing is on a per-user basis. Scoping can sometimes be done, but not with all of the services. The question is also, would you want to scope these type of services? I've added a very important link to this slide that will show you on a page from Microsoft how services are provisioned and what your options are to apply it only to specific users in the tenant. So for instance, Microsoft Defender for Identity features are enabled at the tenant level for all users with the tenant. For more information on configuring, follow this link. How can it be applied to only users in the tenant? Currently, it isn't capable of limiting capabilities to specific users. For other services, this is possible. For instance, apparently with Microsoft Defender for Office 365, you have this option. You can scope it. Again, the question would be, do you want to? Why would you only want safe email attachments, for instance, for a subset of your organization?